In the previous video, we learned about the basic architecture of operating systems and the different roles it performs. Now, let's answer another important question. What are the major responsibilities of an operating system? So, think about your daily routine. You open Chrome, save files, print documents, connect a USB drive, and switch between different applications. Who manages all these operations? The answer is the operating system. Today, we'll understand the major responsibilities of operating system one by one with simple example. Let's begin. The first responsibility of operating system is process management. Before understanding process management, let's understand what a process is. A process is simply a program that is currently running. For example, when you open Google Chrome, the Chrome becomes a process. When you open MS Word, the Word becomes another process. When you open VLC Media Player, and that also becomes a process. Now imagine opening Chrome, Word, Spotify, and VS Code together. All these programs want to use the CPU. Okay, but CPU cannot execute all of them at exactly the same instant. So who decides which program should run first? The operating system. It creates the CPU, it creates processes, it schedules the CPU, it switches the CPU from one process to another very quickly, and this is called context switching. Because this switching happens so fast, we feel that all programs are running simultaneously. So the second responsibility is memory management. Every running program needs memory. Suppose you open Chrome, Chrome cannot run without RAM. The operating system first checks whether enough RAM is available. If memory is available, it allocates RAM to Chrome. Later, if you close the Chrome, the operating system releases that memory, and this allows another application to use it. The operating system also keep track of which area of memory are free and which are already allocated. So another important responsibility is memory protection. One program should never access another program's memory directly. The operating system prevents this, making the system stable and secure. The third responsibility is file management. Every day we create files, rename files, delete files, copy files, and so, who performs these operations? The operating system. It organizes files into dictionaries or folders. It keeps track of where every file is stored. It also controls permissions. For example, in Windows, some files require administration permissions before they can be modified. So, before they can be modified, it needs some permissions, so that are also managed by the operating system. So file management means creating, deleting, organizing, and protecting files. The next responsibility is device management. A computer contains many devices like keyboard, mouse, monitor, printer, scanner, USB drive, speakers. So all these devices must communicate with the software. The applications cannot directly communicate with the hardware devices. Instead, they communicate through the operating system. The operating system uses device drivers to control these hardware devices. For example, when you press the print button in MS Word, Word sends a request to the operating system. The operating system communicates with the printer using the printer driver. Then the printer starts printing. The entire communication is managed by the operating system. Another important responsibility is secondary storage management. A secondary storage refers to the devices like SSDs and hard disk. Whenever you save a file, the operating system decides where that file should be stored. It allocates disk space and it keeps a track of free space, and it also schedules disk operations to improve performance. Without proper storage management, files could be lost or overwritten. That's why operating system carefully manages secondary storage. And the next responsibility is security and protection. Modern computers contain sensitive information like personal photos, documents, bank details, passwords. The operating system protects this information. It verifies users. It verifies users through passwords, pins, fingerprints, or face recognition. It also contains which users can accept particular files or applications. For example, if you log in with a guest account, you may not be allowed to install a software. So these security rules are enforced by an operating system. The operating system also performs error detection. Error detection. Sometimes hardware or software problem occurs. A disk may become full. A device may stop responding. A memory error may occur. So the operating system continuously monitor these systems. Okay, whenever it detects an error, it reports the problem and in many cases try to recover from it, and this helps maintain system stability and reliability. The final responsibility is accounting. Accounting means keeping track of a resource usage. The operating system records how much CPU time each process uses. It monitors memory usage. It can also record disk usage and other system statistics. So let's quickly revise today's class. The operating system performs 8 major responsibilities. The first one is process management, a second one is memory management, third is file management, fourth device management, fifth secondary storage management, sixth security and protection, seventh error detection, finally accounting. So that's all for today's class.